Hello again everybody, it's Prime from Down4X and StupidLepic.com. Today we're going to talk about Disgaea. Stupid red from the camera. Disgaea, you've probably heard me talking about it if you've heard me talking at all. It's a Japanese strategy role-playing game. It kind of plays a little bit like, you know, Wild Arms and things like that. You've got your sort of grid interface, and you can move like from square to square, and you choose all the actions that your characters, you choose all the actions that your characters will do, and then you click end turn or execute, and then they'll do all that stuff. And then when you end turn, it goes to the enemy shot. You know what I mean? So, Disgaea is like, it's a comedy game. Like it's a comedy rip-off game of like, well, it's not a rip-off of anything. It's sort of like like not rip-off, yeah, like a mockery of this sort of Japanese role-playing genre, you know. Features this character here, Laharl, his vassal Etna, and an angel called Flawn. The game takes place in the Netherworld, which is like the demon realm, and yeah, what's happened is essentially the setup to the story is Laharl gets woken up, and he's the son of the overlord of the Nether realm, and he wakes up, finds that his dad's dead, and he's got to take the throne of overlord before any of the other demons try and claim it. So with the help of Etna and this angel, Flawn is initially sent to assassinate him, but then she tries to convert him to the way of love. Aww. Like, to be nice and all that, and love everything, and be joyful and happy and all that. It's a comedy game though. It's what I love about Disgaea and all of its sequels is that it has an extremely exemplary gameplay system. There is so much to the game. Like, it's so flippin' deep. I can't even, like, I am by no means an expert on the game, and I'm still figuring things out myself with this game. But there are people who will, like, make an FAQ on the game, and they'll write down all the things that will happen, like with all your stats and all that, depending on how many innocents you've killed within an item in the item world and things like that. You know, it's like all these ridiculous stat things. Something that Rage's brother Kyle would totally be all into, you know. And it was actually him that turned me onto these games. He's only played the second one, and I borrowed the second one off him. And I had a little shot of it, and I thought, yeah, this is really good. This is really funny. I like this. So I gave him it back and bought Disgaea 1 and 2 on the PSP. In fact, these games are like remakes of the original PS2 games. I'll lose my train of thought here. I can't remember the subtitles for them, but it was like Disgaea, like Day of Darkness or something like that. But the PSP one's called Afternoon of Darkness, and this is Dark Hero Days, or like, you know, Disgaea 2 Dark Hero Days. It was called something else on the PS2 though, but they differentiate the portable versions to the you know, the home console versions. I never got around to buying them on the PS2, and I'm really grateful to Kyle for getting me into these games, because they are really, really fun, fantastic games. The only thing that I disliked about the series in general was that these characters were my favourites. I mentioned this in another video, but Laharl, Etna, and Flawn are my three favourite characters within the series, and each game after that one went on to separate characters. But they, like, Laharl and Etna and Flawn would always have like kind of cameos and things like that. They would always appear in the game. Like, especially in this one, like, there's a really, really funny cutscene if you meet Laharl later on in the game. But you're playing as this guy here. I can't remember his name. What's his name again? Oh man, I totally can't remember his name. But you can see Flawn's there. Like, I can't. Yeah, you can see Flawn's right there. So she's in it, She's one of the characters that's in it as well. She plays in the game as well, but Laharl's in it later on, and so is Flawn. But yeah, like the real gem inside of the game is not just the humor and the music and all that and the voice. Like all the voice, like you wouldn't believe it, but the English voice acting for these games is really funny. Like they nailed the feeling of the games because they understand, like Nippon Ichi Software, they understand uh, how silly like anime and like Japanese RPGs can be. So they're essentially mocking the genre of anime and Japanese RPGs by making these games, because these games like just totally rip the mince out of like everything that normally if you were playing this it would be quite serious, like Final Fantasy Tactics and stuff like that. It's quite dry and straightforward, and it's just like a basic story of trying to save the world. But this is just silly. It's just really very silly things. You'll notice down here as well, there's little penguin characters. You've probably seen them around. They're called Prinnies, and essentially within the storyline in the universe of Disgaea, they're the souls of bad humans who've committed sins, and they're sort of, this is their purgatory. They're in these little stitched up penguin suits, and they've essentially got to either work to pay off their sins either in heaven Celestia, or the Netherrealm. So yeah, it's not exactly coinciding with my beliefs, but like yeah, this is a sort of try and work your way to salvation sort of thing. But yeah, the reason I'm pointing this guy out is because that's going to come a wee bit later. I've got another game that actually features one of these characters. Anyway, so that's Disgaea 1 and 2. I'm only going to bring in like 1 or 2 boxes at a time. But yeah, these games are really fun. If you can get them on the PS2, I highly recommend it, because the only drawback for me on these two games is that I've got to play it on such a small screen. Like I'd really rather play it on a larger screen. So if you can get your hands on these ones, that's fine. But the PS2 ones are far, far better. Okay, I'll put these to the side. Next up is Disgaea 3. You might think by the cover of it that this game looks a bit serious. No, it's very stupid and silly. It's essentially the story of this character here. Oh, what's his name again? Oh, I keep on forgetting their names. Mao, that's it. Join Mao in a madcap adventure packed with Zeta characters. Yep. Right, okay, that's his name, Mao. He's essentially this has actually been released on the PSP and Vita as well. Absence of Detention, it's called. This is Absence of Justice. This game is about Mao, and he is trying to be the most badass, like netherworld, like high school student ever. Essentially, he wants to be the most badass of all, and all these games, by the way, like if you're talking about like this in that, if you're comparing the universes, they're all set in separate worlds. They're all crossable though. Like these they can all be crossed over, but like this guy's dad's the overlord of that Disgaea universe. Laharl's dad is the overlord of that Disgaea universe. The overlord is this princess woman, her dad, So like it's all set in different universes, but it's almost like a pan-dimensional thing where they can cross over. That's why Laharl can be in this game and that game, So yeah, anyway, I just thought I'd preface that with that. So yeah, Mao is trying to become the most badass this classmate. And obviously in the demon world, being bad makes you a good student, being like a jerk and all that, makes you a great student in this academy, Evil Academy or whatever it's called. So yeah, that's Disgaea 3. That's very, very, very funny as well. Hilarious game. I'll now move on to one of the side games now, because I'm going to try and go with the order of release. One of my favourite games on the PSP. Prinny, Can I Really Be the Hero? Prinnies are really, really funny in Disgaea. They always end every sentence with the word dude. Like, they're like, hey dude, what up dude? don't hurt me like that, dude. You know, like they're funny little creatures that yeah, like they're like the pawns. Like when you throw these characters are thrown and they explode. Then you can't use them on the map anymore. You can pick them up and throw, like, you can essentially bring them out of your starting square, use another character to pick them up, throw them, and they explode, and then they're gone. Like they're just the comic relief of the games. You know, they're funny little creatures, and their characters are just really cool. I just really enjoy the concept of the Prinny because they're weaklings and they're they're not really protagonists or anything like that. So when they brought this game out, I was laughing my face off because like this is a game about a Prinny who's finally going to be the protagonist, you know. And yeah, like they can be totally solid because there's characters like General Prinnies and all that, and then there's like Pringer X, which is like a cyber Prinny, like a robot Prinny, like RoboCop Prinny style. But yeah, this game is a departure from the Disgaea games, which is turn-based sort of strategy role-playing game. This is a 2D platformer. This is like it's like Mega Man. Like if you remember the original Mega Man games, where like you would essentially have to memorize the level and like try your best to use all the skills to your advantage to try and like get through levels and stuff like that. There is action in it and all that, and it doesn't have any particularly amazing powers. Like, it can do sword swipes and things like that, and throw bombs and things. It can pirouette as well in the spot to be invincible for a few seconds. But yeah, very fun game, but very difficult. It's extremely difficult, but the setup to the story is really cool. And one of the awesome things about it as well is, when you start the game, you're able to choose, within the first 6 levels, you're able to choose what order you do the levels in. And what order you do the levels in changes the end boss of each level, because it's meant to be a time of day. Like, the first level that you do will be the beginning of the day, and then the second level will be later on in that day, you know, like an hour later or whatever. It's meant to take place over the course of like 10 hours or something. And depending on the first 6 levels, where, like, in what order you choose those first 6 levels, yeah, the bosses of each level change, and the level layouts change because it's all the different levels change layout because it's a different time of the day, and all the backgrounds change, and like all the platform and stuff and all that changes, all the enemy layouts and all that, and like how difficult the enemies are, all change depending on your first 6 choices. So you can play the game like 10 times and it'll be different. It's absolutely, like, they spared no expense when thinking about how to make this game like replayable, you know. And there's also like tons of different endings. Like, you're able to lose all the Prinnies. Like, in this game you've got like 999 lives because the Prinnies are so weak that they just send in new ones whenever the old one dies, you know. But yeah, very funny game. There's tons, like, some of the jokes in it are pretty lowbrow innuendo. Like, you know, like they get away with so much, but it's all hilarious, you know. So yeah, really highly recommend on the PSP. Prinny can really be the hero. There's another one that's out, Prinny 2, Dawn of Operation Panties Dude as well, which is a sequel to this on the PSP. I've not got it yet though, but I was thinking, like, this is the reason why I'm doing this video, because I was thinking about the Disgaea series today, and I was thinking maybe I should buy Prinny 2, because Prinny 1 is absolutely phenomenal. Anyway, okay, next one. This is not a Disgaea game, but it totally yes, it is made by Nipponichi. It's made by the same company. That's the Nipponichi logo there, next to the wee, like, thingy, the Region 1 thing. Zettai Hero Project is it's a roguelike game. It's a game with the same visual style as Disgaea, but it's sort of like a real-time, like whenever you move a space in the game, the enemy will move a space, you know. So like if you move 5 spaces, like the enemy will move like, and then you. It's really hard to explain. I'm pretty sure you understand what I mean though. I'm not going to treat you like an idiot, but when when you attack, that's one move to them. Whenever you move, that's another move to them. Like they can attack you, you can attack them, and it's all back and forth. But it's a roguelike game where the point of the game is to continuously die until you're strong enough to fight the final boss. Because when you die in a roguelike, you lose everything. But in this game, you retain an overall level. Like, if you're able to play through the game and get to level 10, and then die, you'll start off at level 1, but you'll start off at level 1 again with the stats, or like with the scaling stats of a level 10 character, And every time you die, those the levels that you accumulated within the game get added to your overall level, which increase your overall stats. So you can imagine getting to like level 100, dying, and then that 100 levels, that 100 level stats, all those stats for that 100 levels being applied to a level 1 character, you'd be able to get a lot further than you did at like zero overall level, but level 1, So it's a very, very fun, very funny game, and they're bringing out another game that's on the PlayStation 3. It's not it's not a sequel to Zettai Hero Project, but it's another game. It's about a character. It's a character who wins a lottery. I done an article on our website about it. It's about a character who wins a lottery and becomes God, becomes like a total, like an all powerful being. But it's another one of these kind of games where you move and the enemies move. It's a roguelike game just like this, but it's a different story. So I'm interested in playing that as well, because the gameplay in this was really fun. But yeah, that game's extremely fun, and if you can get a hold of it, like, I remember asking to review this by Nis, and this is me bigging up Nis again because they're awesome. Actually, it wasn't this I asked to review. I asked to review something else. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was the Bermuda Triangle. What is it again? Phantom Brave, the Bermuda Triangle on the PSP. And then Ryan sent me a code for this, and it didn't work. So he was like, "Oh man, sorry. Here's another code," and it didn't work. And he sent me a third one, and it didn't work. And then he says to me, "You know what? Screw it. Give me your address. I'll just send you a copy of it. You have to play this game." So he sent me a physical copy of the game for nothing, and he never even told me to review it. He was just like, "You've got to play this game. This is so much fun. You've got to try it." Like, I don't even care if you review it. I did review it, but he was just saying, "I don't care if you review it. Just play it because it's really, really silly and really fun." And yeah, like Flawn and all that is, like it's another universe where Flawn and Laharl and all that's in it. They're all there. They're all there. It's still a huge thing, like the Disgaea universe and the Nipponichi software stuff is all sort of interlinked in some way, even in the most crazy ways, So, yep, that's Zettai Hero Project, Unlosing Ranger versus Dark Death Evil Man. That is such a fun game. Okay, next. I'm going to be talking for ages here, This is 18 minutes already, 19 minutes. Disgaea 4. Absolutely fantastic game. That was something falling, sorry. Disgaea 4, absolutely fantastic game. Again, it's got Prinnies, it's... what's his name again? This guy's a vampire. I can't remember his name now. Dagnammit. Oops. And this is the Spanish version, I think. Solo en PlayStation. I don't know. Can't remember. What's it? I keep on forgetting their names. Like, it's so bizarre. This guy's a vampire. This guy's a werewolf. This lassie's a Prinny wannabe. She's got a baseball bat, But this was the first game in the series that upscaled the sprites and made it all high definition. So, yeah, this is the one that took that step forward. And when I finally seen this game, when I seen the sprites in it, I was like, I contacted Ryan and I was like, "Man, the graphics in this are amazing. It would be absolutely phenomenal if you guys would redo Disgaea 1 and 2 in high definition like this. Like, Disgaea 3 doesn't really have high definition graphics, but you know, it just came out, so I wasn't going to tell them to remake it like that. But I would love to see Disgaea 1, Disgaea 2, Disgaea 3, you know, like, all done in beautiful high definition graphics. All the sprites are all redrawn. They actually look like this in the game, you know, they actually look that good. It's like the sprites are redrawn to the point where they're meant to mimic this the guy's art style, you know, like painted look and all that. It's absolutely phenomenal. This guy's got an addiction with sardines. He loves sardines. That is all. He's a vampire that doesn't drink blood. He's sworn off blood, and now sardines give him his strength. This is the kind of games we're dealing with here, folks. Incredibly deep gameplay that lasts you pretty much forever. See, if you don't have any money, you can pick up one Disgaea game. One Disgaea game, and it'll last you forever. Seriously. There's an infinite world of possibilities in these games, and one of them will last you forever. Not in terms of storyline, but in terms of gameplay. You know, the story doesn't last forever, obviously. But in terms of gameplay, there's worlds that are randomly generated from each item that you pick up in the games. You can create an entire 100 floor world that is all randomly generated per item, which is incredible. So and I'm not just saying this is something new that they added in to Disgaea 4. This is like from Disgaea 1. They done that. They added in the infinite item world. Like, they made it as a part of Disgaea, and then ever since then they've been continuing to add and make better the gameplay of these games. Absolutely phenomenal series. And okay, so finally we're going to move on to the granddaddy of them all, Disgaea D2. I've been playing this game and it brings a tear to my eye to know that they done it. They done, like, give me 2 seconds. They done what I wanted them to do. They made this in high definition, and I thought, man, it would be absolutely fantastic if they made this game with Disgaea 4's graphics. They didn't make this game, they made an entirely original new game in high definition featuring the Disgaea 1 cast. I am absolutely blown away with the dedication that Nipponichi Software has to their fans, because I remember reading that Disgaea 4 was going to be their last try, because I think I remember them saying something like they were kind of on their last legs. This is their last chance to do something amazing with Disgaea, because, like, it's only uber popular in Japan, you know. This is a really, really Japanese game, and it's very niche over in the West. But I remember them saying if this didn't work out, they were probably not going to be doing anymore. Apparently it did, because they were like, yep, we love our fans, we know exactly what our fans want. They want more Disgaea. And they done it. There's not much I can say about the series anymore, you know, like, I love this game, I love the second one, I love the third one, I love Prinny, you know, like, I love Disgaea 4, but this one, man, this is what I wanted, you know, this is exactly what I was dreaming about as soon as I seen the visuals from Disgaea 4, combined with me completing this game, you know. I can't say enough good about the Disgaea games. Like, they're so funny, they're so rich with character, the voice acting is absolutely top notch. You remember Power Rangers? Do you remember Rita Repulsa? The, you know, magic wand, make my monsters grow! It's her that does Laharl's voice. And it's fan-freaking-tastic. You can tell it's her. But it's like Rita Repulsa doing a kind of like boy version of Rita Repulsa voice, you know? It's incredible, absolutely amazing. The total smart aleck Etna, you know, the really happy, squeaky, bubbly voice of like Flawn. You know, it's just everything that I wanted in a Disgaea game. And they've improved the gameplay so much. They've just taken leaps and bounds in terms of the series, and I'm just so grateful to them for being so like it's almost like they know their niche. They know their fans, what their fans want, and they know that their fans are raving lunatics for these games. Even if their fan base is relatively small compared to things like, you know, Metal Gear Solid or like Grand Theft Auto or something like that. This is quite a niche series, but they love their fans. You can tell that. You can tell that they absolutely adore the people who are fanatical about their games. And I love these games. Like I'm like again, like I said, I'm not like this raving lunatic who will like track every stat possible within the infinite item world and stuff like that. I'm not that deeply into it, but I love them. I love these games. They're absolutely fantastic. So if you ever get a chance at all to pick up any of these games whatsoever, I highly recommend them, because these games are just, they'll last you forever, and they're extremely fun. So that's them all, guys. Fingers crossed for like HD remakes of the first 3 games now. Probably not going to happen, but you know, fingers crossed anyway. So thanks for watching, guys. It's been a bit of a long one this time, but thanks again, and I'll see you later. Bye.